Yo, Kingdom, community vibes, community ties. Terrance Tucker is the brother who's connecting the tribe.
Boom, we back in the building, and I know that you're upset with me. I know you're upset with me right now. I know. I can tell by the look in your eyes.
Oh gosh.
Because you see the queen next to me. Yes. I told you, if you pray 2 times a day, God will bless you. Okay? God will bless you. Okay? I have the most phenomenal woman in the world sitting next to me right now. Yeah, I said it. Okay? Now you got a problem with it, come see me. Okay?
This black man is gassing me up today. He's giving me 93, not 87.
Come see me.
He's giving me 93.
History making, okay? History making. I have Miss Naida Rutherford in the building, okay? Now, if y'all don't listen, man, cut the TVs off, okay? Put the kids to sleep, man. This is real. This is happening. I told you that. I told you this was going to happen.
Oh my
All right,
God.
we have to lift up our queens. It's so imperative that we shine light on our queens, man.
And our kings.
Thank you. Now, before we get to this phenomenal woman right here, let's pay 2 quick bills, all right? Number 1, if God woke you up this morning, give him all the praise.
Amen.
Give him all the praise and the glory because he is able and he is worthy to be praised. Listen, man, watch the news, okay? Listen, you can see why listen, you should be thankful, all right? So, listen, man, no matter what you're going through right now, he has the answer. I promise you. Just hold on, all right? And be patient, okay? And wear the color blue, right? You know what I'm saying? You might get some luck. Hey, number 2. Now you hear the music playing in the background, and you see her drinking a smoothie because she's at the Groove Smoothie and Juice Bar, located on 7510 Garners Ferry Road. Yes, okay. Boom, okay. She said it. It's amazing. So come by and get your amazing smoothie. All right, come by, okay? Now, we're back.
I'm nervous. He has so much energy. I'm nervous.
We're back with the queen because we are so excited. You know, now I've been following you so long.
I've been following you.
You know, well, we have been following each other for so long, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I'm proud of you.
So thankful for you because of who you are and who you're becoming, and you know who you're leading also, and. I just want to say thank you so much, you know, for your courage and your hard work, okay?
Thank you.
Now, for those who may not know, for those who don't have a TV, for those who may not have a phone, for those who may not be on social media, for those who live up under a rock, okay, you may not know who this young lady is.
I'm not well known. I don't think so.
I'm trying to move out the
Oh my gosh.
thunder and lightning might come down on us, okay? Now, you know, that's one of her gifts, being modest and humble, okay? Being modest and humble. Now, you said that you're from a part of Florida that I just cannot pronounce.
Bartow. It's tiny.
Bartow, Florida.
Yeah, Bartow, Florida. It's very, very small. No one really knows where that is because either it's crime related or just something bad. Typically, it's a small town.
Okay, listen, Bartow, Florida. Thank you for this right here.
On the map.
Thank you, Bartow. We're gonna come down there, man. We're gonna have a huge parade, man, in Bartow for you giving us this queen right here. Now, this young lady attended one of the best HBCUs in the world.
Yes.
Now, before I get to that school, why Benedict College?
I say this to people all the time.
Yeah.
I was not going to college. I did not have a college plan. I grew up poor. I didn't have parental support. 2 days after I graduated from high school, I was told that I had to leave the home that I had grown up in for 15 years. I grew up in foster care. And so I didn't have a plan. I didn't have resources. I didn't have money. I had a book bag, a garbage bag with some stuff in it. No, probably not.
Oh.
It probably had a broken strap and a broken zipper. Like I don't think so.
Okay.
But I'll tell you this. It was 10 o'clock at night on a Thursday. I graduated on that Tuesday. And what I realized in that moment was that I was 18. I had aged out of foster care, and there was no help for me. There were no resources for me. So I did not choose Benedict College. Benedict College chose me.
Salute.
Yes, and forever in my life, Benedict can get whatever they can from me because they helped put me on the path to success. They saw something in me. I didn't apply to Benedict. I was just there with a friend.
Okay.
Her mom had brought her to come here for an audition. And the coach kept saying, "Who are you? What do you do?" And I was like, "Shut up, man. Like I don't want her to be upset with me." And I ended up, after that encounter with that coach and with several people on Benedict's campus, I ended up with a full scholarship to go to college. Yes.
Just like that. Look at God.
Yeah. Oh, listen.
When he do it?
All day, every day, every time. Whenever you are weary, he will show up.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Listen, stay patient, stay faithful. I'm telling you, man. God has something for you, man. Even when it doesn't look like it. I promise you. I promise you.
He does.
Now, your first year of college, right? How was that transition? You know, new environment, right? New city. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to find your identity.
I don't have parents sending me things to college.
That's true.
I didn't have resources. I worked 6 jobs.
Wow, you were Jamaican.
Yeah, I really think there must be like, and you know, no shade, but like I really think that there must be some, like people say all the time, like, are you Jamaican? There's got to be something in there because I have 5 jobs right now.
Wow, you're a
today. Yeah, I just work. It's what I do. But the first year was difficult. It was hard. I went through a little bit of a depression because when you're worried about how you're going to eat, you're not really worried about other things. But when you have a place to sleep, when you don't have to worry about someone hurting or harming you, when you have food to eat, then the other things that are wrong in your life start to become a focus. And I think this is even for adults. Like when you've achieved a certain level of success, you're so busy working towards that goal that you don't stop to realize that maybe the way you operate in a relationship isn't healthy, or that maybe you have some toxic traits that you're bringing into spaces. But you're not focused on those things when you're focused, when you're so focused on the hunger that you have, whether it be for success, whether it be for status, whatever your thing is. For me, it was just always to try to be my best self. And so I wasn't worried about all of the other things. But then when I kind of secured the basic necessities, I was really worried about how am I going to survive this mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And it was tough. It was a tough transition.
So let me ask you this, because none of us made it by ourselves.
No.
So we all had help, right? Who was one of your mentors when you was in college?
I would have to say that there was a dance teacher. Her name was Donna Todd, and I am not a good dancer. That's what you need to know. If you remember nothing else from today, I'm a terrible dancer. But in my mind, I'm an amazing dancer.
That's how I feel in the shower when I sing.
Well, I can sing. I actually had a scholarship for that, so
it's just
we can help each other. We can help each other.
Help me help you.
Yeah. So no. But Donna Todd was amazing, and then there was a lady named Vivian Counts. She was in the science department, and she's actually who got me into Benedict College.
Oh, wow.
And she would stay on top of me like a mom would, and she would say, okay, you're making straight A's, but have you taken care of yourself today? Did you pray today? Did you thank God for waking you up this morning? And it was just
a real mentor.
Oh yeah. And she was hard on me, but soft when she needed to be. And I think that's something that that we're missing sometimes in mentorship. Like all of us can be like, you need to do this, you need to do that, but we don't take a moment to stop and say, I need to put some softness into this. And so she was soft with me when she needed to be, and that was very instrumental in my development as a woman.
So that's awesome. salute to that phenomenal woman. Because listen, you never know. Listen, man, you never know how your mentoring someone may help them. You know what I'm saying, going forward. Listen, you don't have to be rich to be a mentor.
No.
You know what I mean? You just have to be willing to give yourself to that person. All right, because we all need that flashlight. You know what I mean, to kind of help us, you know, through that darkness. You know, what we all, you know, hate to go down that road. But
it's a large part of life.
It's a huge part of life.
Like that, the darkness that I had in me, and I will say this, it was my freshman year and my senior year that this happened to me. And I think it's really, I don't tell people my success story. That's not important to me. I want you to know how I failed. I want you to know the darkest moments. I want you to know that I ate crackers and drank water and used the little lemon off the salad bar for 3 months, and that I walked 6 miles to get to work every day. Or I want you to know that there were days when I felt suicidal, or that I was sad, so sad that I just didn't want to be here anymore. I think those things are important, because we all, maybe your thing, maybe you weren't suicidal, maybe that wasn't your thing, but maybe somebody thought so much of you and you didn't think that much of yourself.
Come on.
So everybody's struggle is different, right? I think with the death of Chadwick Boseman.
Oh, that was, listen, R.I.P. man. Yes, sir. Rest in power, brother.
But you know what it made me think about?
What's that?
He was living. He wasn't dying. He was living. And so often we get focused on that dark space that we don't know, that we don't always share how we got out of it. We just focus on like, yeah, I made it. But how did you actually do it? What did you actually do? He got up every day. He worked every day. Went hard. But you know what? I bet in his quiet time, he took the time to grieve what he needed to grieve. And we don't do that. And we don't talk about those hard things. So I don't want to shy away from that.
You know, he must have had to surround himself with some incredible people, because they kept that thing a secret. Like, listen.
Even when he lost all the weight, like when he posted that video in April. And they didn't say one word.
And then people were picking at the guy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Listen, man. Be mindful, okay? Be mindful of who you talk about nowadays, man. You never know you never know what they're going through. All right, so be mindful, okay?
Oh, yeah. I
we
say
all
that
have a journey.
all the time.
Yes.
You know, even when I was in school, a lot of people didn't know my story until much later. They were like, "Oh my God, you were homeless?" Like, yeah, I was homeless. Like, you didn't have a car? No, I didn't have a car. Well, God, you always look so nice. I shopped at thrift stores. You know, like, so people don't have to necessarily know your story in order to be kind and to have grace and mercy with you.
Come on.
So kindness is something that I live by every day. I teach it to my children. You can always be kind. In all ways, always. It's like my thing.
It always works.
It always works. It does.
It always works.
But don't let that fool you. Because sometimes you have to show up now. Sometimes they got to give you the smoke.
She's a fighter now. Okay? Straight out of Florida. Straight out of
Don't do that. It's true, though. It is true.
So, leaving Benedict College, did you know what you wanted to actually be when you left Benedict College?
I didn't know what I wanted to be while I was at Benedict College. That's important to know. And let me tell you why that's important. Because no one asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Oh, really?
I had a horrible childhood, horrible. So I never thought about what I wanted to be, but more importantly, I never thought about what I could be.
So when did it click for you?
Okay, it was a year out from graduating from college.
Okay.
And I kept applying for jobs. And I would make it to the last round of interviews, but not get the job.
Oh, that sucks.
And that sucked.
That hurts.
And I'm like, I have a biology degree. I graduated magna cum laude. Like, I got honors and accolades and stuff.
And still getting disrespected.
And still being told no. I'm not going to say disrespected. I'm going to say still being told no. And let me tell you what I learned in that time. Someone said to me, you should go to nursing school.
Oh.
I don't want to be a nurse.
Have you thought about it?
Well, I'm a nurse practitioner.
No, prior to that.
No, I
Okay.
hadn't.
Okay.
I majored in biology, and everyone
Right.
says you're supposed to go to medical school.
Right.
Well, the failure story in that was that the last semester, I was supposed to take this huge training course to take the MCAT, which is the admittance test to, one of the qualifying criterion for medical school.
Right.
And I didn't have any other resources, so this program was it. You know, I had faithfully gone every summer to summer school. I studied, and the last summer they said, please provide proof of insurance. And I was like, what? I didn't have health insurance, so I couldn't continue in the program.
Right. Wow.
And so I didn't get a chance to take the MCAT. I didn't get a chance to do those things, and I didn't even know how to find resources to help me. And so I did eventually take the MCAT within that year, but I didn't have any of the preparation that everyone else gets to go to do it.
Right.
And so I felt very disadvantaged. And so I ended up going to nursing school, but very begrudgingly. I was like, this is settling. Like, I hate this idea. Like, I don't want to be a nurse. I'm supposed to be a doctor. I majored in biology.
There you go. There you go.
And my first semester, the dean said to me of the nursing program at OC Tech, shout out Orangeburg.
Oh, Bird, Dirty Bird.
She said, you are smart and you are a leader, but your attitude is terrible.
How did you, so how did you receive that?
I'm gonna show you what I did. Hold on. I sat in her office like this. This is the attitude pose, right? This is the attitude pose. And I was like, whatever.
Wow.
And she said to me, your ego will be your downfall.
Ooh.
If you don't straighten yourself out. There are people who would die to be in this program. And
now, have you heard that, prior to her saying that?
No, I didn't have a bad attitude before that.
You didn't?
I didn't.
Nobody never told you that before.
It was when I got to that program and I felt like I was settling.
Oh, I got you.
I felt like I was settling.
So you was mad at yourself?
Yes.
I got you.
I was mad. I wasn't even myself. I was mad that I didn't have parents who had health insurance. I was mad that I couldn't afford health insurance.
Right.
I was mad that I didn't have the resources and the means to take care of myself properly so that I could continue on in that program.
Right.
Because in my mind, I was going to be a doctor.
Right. I got you.
So that's what I was mad at. And like most things, whether it be childhood trauma, whether it be your relationship with your parents that you don't really have, or whether it be an ex-boyfriend who did you wrong, or ex-girlfriend who broke your heart, we project and carry those things into so many situations. And so I was just projecting. Yeah, I was taking all that baggage. And she said, either you, because professionalism was a part of your grade, she said, you will fail.
Wow.
And I said, fail?
Yeah.
I make straight. Hold on. No, ma'am. So I straightened my attitude out. I went home. I prayed about that thing, and I just said, you are better than this.
Very much better.
This is not who you are. I was turning into someone that I was angry.
Okay.
And so I got through nursing school with a much better attitude. I did what I was supposed to.
Salute to that woman who
Delora Knight. I think she's passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Ms.
She
Knight.
was really old when we were in the program. But yeah, I think she's deceased
Full
now.
of wisdom, though.
Yes, Lord. God rest the dead.
She read you your rights. What they say?
Snatched all my edges.
Snatched.
She did. She snatched them. And didn't even give them back. They had to grow back slowly.
Now you're a nurse practitioner now.
Yes.
And you are very, very, very fashionable. Very fashionable.
All right.
She may be the best dressing nurse there is, nurse practitioner there is in the world right now. In the world, I said it, I told you, if you got a problem with it, come to 7510 Garners Ferry Road.
Right now, we're
right
ready.
Now, but you also like for others to look good.
I do. But it is more than clothes.
Okay. Can you explain that for me, please?
So for me, growing up the way that I did and not having new clothing, not being able to shop in retail stores and have new things, I always look nice. And that is something that people have said about me my whole life. Like, well, you always look so nice. I will take a trash bag and fashion it into something wonderful if I have to. Yes. But what I wanted to show women was that the name inside of your clothing or your shoes or handbag, it doesn't give you style. It doesn't give you confidence. It doesn't give you that thing that you need to walk forth and be your best self. Learning how to dress for your body type, no matter where you shop, is the important piece of that. Learning what looks nice on you, but more importantly, how to have almost like a uniform that you can go to quickly, because oftentimes you'll see women say, oh God, I look a mess, I'm not prepared. And they are so busy focused on the fact that they don't look their best, that they're not performing their best. So I teach women to look their best at all times. I changed in my car on the way here because I was working.
Superwoman.
Yes. Because I was working, you know, in a different setting today. But I'm always ready. I know how to have my hair done within a 10-minute time period, and how to put my face on, and how to dress. But I taught myself those things over a few years, and so I like to show women how to do that. And it has nothing to do with being too girly or too feminine. It is just me saying I like to look, but I like to look nice because it makes me feel good about myself. Right. And I perform better.
Self-confidence.
Yes.
It's so important.
Yes.
Self-confidence is so important. But like I said, you know, it's rare because you like for others to look good too.
Yes, I do. I do.
You know, and you've been helping so many young ladies out, man. So many young ladies out.
We try our best.
And you know, I thank you for that, because that's helping, you know, my young kids. you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that.
Stuff.
Yeah, you know, I appreciate that. But now, most recently, you made history. You made a small little history.
I did.
A little something. Did you hear about it? Did you hear? Huh? Can you tell the listeners what God made possible?
Yes, Lord.
A few months back.
Okay, so let me give you a little backstory. So it's funny because people kept saying to me during the campaigning, what made you want to do that? You just woke up one day and decided you wanted to run for office? And I said, no.
Pretty good question.
This has been 10 years in the making.
Oh, wow.
I've been a healthcare provider for 14 years.
Wow.
I have always been fascinated, intrigued, obsessed with crime solving. And I didn't realize it, but my favorite stuff to read as a kid was always about crime. Serial killers.
Favorite crime show?
48. The first 48. Yeah. And Locked Up Abroad.
Yeah.
It's pretty good stuff. I like to know why criminals do things. I like to know their mindset. I like to know how they committed the crime, because that helps to solve crimes, you know. I've always been very fascinated with that sort of thing. And it's a weird thing for me to be into. I get it. People look at me and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's kind of my jam. I love it. But I've always been fascinated with those things. And so now I'm in healthcare. I didn't necessarily want to go into law enforcement per se, but I've wanted to fuse the
two?
Like how can I do that? And so I started researching positions that would allow me to do both things. And so to prepare, I started taking on legal cases. I started being an expert witness in medical legal death investigations, so that I could help determine how something happened to a patient, or maybe what things could have been done preventatively to help the person maybe not pass away or not have negligent care, or have malpractice lawsuits filed. So I did a lot of work in that area, and I became a wound and ostomy nurse, which is really gross and disgusting. Like I worked with maggots. And
when they're where?
In the body. And I would put maggots in the body.
While they're alive?
Yes, to feed on the dead tissue. Did
you
clutch your pearl?
This is crazy, but I love it.
Yeah. So, and then I started studying just like how the human body breaks down with moisture, with water, different chemicals. Not at all. Not at all. Like it's pretty fascinating, actually.
That's dope.
So, because of that. I started just doing research, and I came upon the position of coroner. And I said, oh, now this is a way to fuse some things. Yes!
Come on.
And I was so excited. So 10 years ago, my oldest son is 11. So 10 years ago, I started just researching and researching. And then 8 years ago, the law changed on the qualifications to become a coroner. And you could be a nurse. You could have a nursing degree, because we deal with the entire spectrum of human life from birth to death.
You do. Man.
And then with my nurses. To all the healthcare workers. So then I said, okay, how can I further advance my knowledge to be able to run for this? So I just started researching, and so by the time I knew that this was the year for me to run, I knew that I prayed on it, and I am probably way too humble to think that God speaks to me. I'm not worthy, but I just had this this feeling. And even on the day when I filed the paperwork to run for office, I had to stop and pray, because the devil is busy.
Oh, he is super busy.
And I got all this self-doubt. Oh yeah. I got all this self-doubt, just like all of a sudden now I got really emotional in my car, and I was like, why are you doing this? You can't do this. Like, this person's been in office for 20 years.
Doesn't matter.
What? And then just something like a calmness came over me. And it was like, hey, no, actually, you're gonna do this, and you're gonna win no matter what the vote says. You're going to win. And I just said, let's do it.
Now, so by you winning, you became the first black female coroner, right? Or first black.
So I have heard people say that during the Reconstruction era, there may have been a black coroner, maybe for the black population. Right. I can't find that in any history. So if any of you are out there and you're historians, or you know how to research that, I would really appreciate it. But I know for a fact that I'm the first woman, and I'm the first person of color as a female to hold this position. So we made history on 3 different fronts, and then we are researching with the Guinness Book of World Records, actually, because I may be the first nurse practitioner in the entire U.S. to ever hold the position of coroner. That would be pretty dope, but we're researching it. That would be huge.
That's big.
Yeah. So.
Don't make me get up and start dancing in front of the screen right now, man.
But we don't know if it's real or
it's
not.
Real.
So.
It's real. We're claiming it here on the Community Vibes. If you got a problem with it, come to 7510 Garners Ferry Road, man. I keep telling y'all that.
We're right here at the Groove.
We are right here at the Groove. Listen, history making. Now, listen. God is good.
God is good all the time.
Listen, don't ever doubt yourself. Ever.
It's hard, man.
Mountains decline, okay? But God will give you the tools you need, man. I'm telling you, it's so important. Now, now that you know about that, now one thing that I noticed was, a lot of times when whenever we witness people run for things, some people tend to get negative. You never went that route.
I didn't have to.
Why is that?
One, that's not who I am. I'm not a mean person.
Right. Definitely not a mean person.
That doesn't come up in my spirit. You have to be at me for a while for me to turn that way towards you. And you probably need to be put in your place at that point. You have tried me to the point where you need this smoke. So
they need the smoke, man.
Sometimes you do have to let people know that your kindness is not a weakness, and that it is not an excuse for you to act up. So let's just say that. We'll leave that right there.
There you go.
But I didn't have to be negative. I experienced a lot of negativity. Lord
You
Jesus,
did. You
I
did.
did.
You
I
did.
experienced a lot of negativity.
You did.
But I knew what my purpose was. I knew that I was walking the steps that I had been ordered to walk. And so I didn't have to be negative. All I did was tell the truth.
Facts.
And that's it.
All facts. All facts.
There was one thing that I kind of got mixed up, and I apologized for it. Whether that person, heard me or not, I'm not sure. But other than that, it was what it was.
Were you surprised on how many people, you know what I'm saying, how many, well, so when I found out that you were running, right, it was like overwhelming because there was so many people saying, yo, we gotta vote for Naida. We gotta vote. We listen, no matter what y'all do, vote for her, vote for her. Were you surprised on how many people, you know, came out to support little old you?
Let me tell you,
Florida.
and I kept saying that. I kept saying, so the night of the election, you know, I was out with voters until almost midnight.
Wow.
And then my staff was like, you must go home now. And I was like, no, man, I gotta go check on the volunteers. You know, I didn't even go to my own watch party because I was out with the voters. I refused to leave them knowing that they were still standing in line. Like, I had to check on them. I had to make sure they were okay. Like, that's just who I am.
That's awesome.
So that night I went to bed I think I finally said, okay, I gotta go to sleep. It was 3 a.m. And I had a procedure to do on a patient the next day. I was like, I need at least 4 hours of sleep. And so I was able to get that. But I didn't know that I had won.
You didn't?
No.
Come on.
I just kept thinking some people they're gonna find like a whole ballot box and it's gonna have like 10,000 votes in it and they're gonna all be for him. But I didn't know that I had won, and even the next day, I posted a video which got, I think that thing had almost 30,000 views, and I was I was like, did everybody who vote for me watch the video?
Yes.
It was really, really dope to see that many people, but it was so humbling. And I will say this to you, even now, I think I can't rest.
Why?
Because November, my name is still on the ballot in November. I won the Democratic primary to be listed on the ballot in November. And because there was no other contestant, you know, I'm presumed the winner unless they come up with some crazy write-in campaign. But you know,
she's the winner.
There's a sore loser statute, so they can't do that. So
she's the winner.
It's crazy.
Now, you've accomplished so much, right? And you know, you've held so many, you know, let's say you've held so many different titles, right?
That's true.
One of your biggest titles is mother.
Yes,
right?
It is my number one. Yes, it is my number one title.
How did it feel, you know, having your sons witness that? His mom just made history. Look, yo, that's my mom.
They were so proud.
Wow.
And they were so happy. You know, they were out with me. Till really? Almost midnight, if not
grinding
later.
With mom.
Yes, and even at my store, the restaurant, you know, the community work, they are right there.
Wow.
And they're like, hey, mom, you can't, like, I remember it was so hot on election day.
Yeah.
And my son's birthday was the next day. And he said, well, we got to help you so we can celebrate tomorrow. Right. And we're going to celebrate you winning and my birthday. And I said, you're right, baby.
Wow.
And so that was so cool. And I tell people all the time, like, I'm a servant. That is my role. I serve my kids. I serve my community. I serve my family.
Some nice looking little dudes too.
Thank you. They're my heartbeats, man. I love those guys.
Good looking little cats.
Yeah, thank you. It makes me blush. I love those guys, man. They are my everything. But it was really cool to take them with me to vote, and it was cool to have them there with me. And till well after midnight, they were out talking to voters, like, do you need water? Are you okay?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was
servants,
cool.
Man, young servants.
Oh yeah,
young kings.
Yes,
that's what they are, young kings. That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's really cool.
So now we may have the opportunity to witness history again by, you know, we could possibly have the first black vice president. Female.
My soror.
Boom. How does that make you feel?
I'm proud of her. As a woman who has sat in predominantly non-black environments often in my career, as a person of color who has come from adversity. When I look at Kamala Harris, what I think about is the fact that her parents worked hard to make sure that she knew she could do it.
Wow.
And that throughout her career, she did her job, but she found ways to right wrongs, even in a system that is meant to oppress us. So whether or not, I hear people talk about the fact that she put a lot of people in jail, but she also helped start PTI programs for underprivileged youth and for people who don't have access to resources. Right. So when I see her, I see me. And I hope that every Black female, I hope that every woman, every girl child sees themselves in Kamala, because no matter how much we talk about social injustice and inequality, to be a woman in a predominantly male-dominated space, it is hard. You're not talking about the same things. You're excluded a lot of times. The boys are going out to play basketball. They don't invite you. They sometimes intentionally do things where they don't have to invite you. And it sucks because a lot of rapport and bonding and business deals happen in environments where women are not often asked to come to and invited to.
That is so true.
So true. I love seeing her there. Like I absolutely love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome.
What do you think about it?
Listen, I was raised by some phenomenal Black strong women.
Okay.
And for years, but I've been saying, listen, we need right now a Black female president.
Yes.
I've been saying that.
We know how to budget.
What? Listen, there's no us without Black women. Okay? Listen, they set the tone. Okay? And who will you listen to?
Your mama.
Your mama. Okay?
I didn't have one of those, but I have other mothers
but
who
you're a
have
mother
helped
now.
me. Oh yes.
Right. But and we know how important. Listen, it's so imperative that women are, let's shown how loved they are. You know what I mean?
It's important to see yourself though.
Yes.
And this is why representation matters so much. Right. It is not that the powers that be, if we want to say that, don't or can't empathize or sympathize with us, but you don't have our experience. Right. As a Black man, I don't know what it's like to be pulled over by the cops and have that fear. I know as a ethnically ambiguous woman what that feels like, because most of the time people don't think I'm Black, they think I'm Hispanic, and so I'm discriminated against for something that I'm not.
Wow.
It's very interesting. I can tell you some stories. When I was 6 months pregnant, I was pulled over by a police officer who tried to pull me out of my car at 6 months pregnant because he didn't think I looked pregnant. Sir, I am a thin person. My belly is maybe when I stand up. Oh, it was terrible. But my point in sharing that was to say our experiences shape us and they help us make decisions as it relates to budgeting, as it relates to resources and programs, because you may not know what it's like to go to school hungry. So the free lunch program may not mean anything to you. It may not mean anything to your children. Yes. But I was a kid that was a part of the free lunch program. Wow. I was a kid that went to after school programs provided. I had Medicaid. What is it? You aid the poor and care for the elderly. Is that what it is? I'm trying to remember. But I had Medicaid.
Right.
And I know what it's like to go in the doctor's office and you're sitting in the back and you're not seen until all the paying patients are seen. Wow. So I've experienced a different side of life. So when I see someone who's homeless, hey, what do I have? Let me give this to you. I don't need to know the story because I know what it's like to be hungry. And if I can provide you something to eat, then I will. So representation matters. When I go into my rooms and I see my patients and they see someone that has their experience, it's like an unspoken just connection. Because I can speak the language that they speak. I can say to them, baby, you got sugar? And they know, and someone who doesn't know what that means, who's maybe not from the country, they may not know that that means diabetes. They may not know that when I say to my elderly Black woman who's cooking oxtails on the weekend, baby, you got high blood, you can't eat like that.
You can't do that.
But let me give you food options that are still in the cuisine that you like to eat, but that are a little bit better. So I can offer Mrs. Dash that's sodium free.
There you go.
To flavor your oxtails.
Or come get a smoothie.
From the groove.
From the groove.
We are paying bills today.
We paying bills all day. Listen, so let me ask you this, because you're in the medical field, and my mom died of COVID-19. And I want to ask you, thank you.
So
how do you feel about COVID-19 right now?
Oh, hold on, let me
The
adjust
impact.
myself.
The impact
one,
that is having.
let me say this.
Yes.
Here is where being a healthcare provider and being opinionated and having medical background.
Speak to them.
It is real. For everyone who's not wearing their masks, for everyone who is not washing their hands, who are going out in public and they're not taking it seriously,
Right.
you can die.
Right.
It is very real. So for those people who are saying, oh, well, it'll be fine, it really may not be fine.
Right.
The flu kills people every year. Pneumonia kills people every year.
Right.
COVID-19, I do believe, will become one of those things, kind of like the flu and pneumonia, where we know it exists, we know it can be deadly, they'll develop a vaccine.
Right.
I don't want the first two they develop, I'm gonna wait a little bit.
Exactly.
But just my personal opinion. But my point is that we sometimes don't take things seriously because they don't personally affect us.
Come on. Yeah.
But you had a parent to pass away.
Yeah, my mom.
So that's very real. And so now, maybe before you didn't feel the urgency of that.
Oh, yeah.
But now you can say, if something like this happens again, or in continuation, because there's a second wave coming, I believe that. That you can say, hey guys, I know firsthand what the symptoms look like because my mom had them. I know firsthand what it's like to see someone not be able to breathe, or to watch someone be on a ventilator,
or to bury someone,
for something that may or may not have been preventable, right?
Right.
People talk about the flu vaccine, and I'm not getting that. It gives you the flu. It does. You are taking a portion of the flu into your body to give you immunity, which is why it's called a vaccine and why it's called an immunization, because it's hopefully there to immunize you.
Right.
The bubonic plague killed people for years until we got penicillin.
Wow.
And now that disease is eradicated. And so when you think about the progression that we're making in the medical field, I think sometimes things aren't important. They've had a vaccine in the works for 2 years, but the federal government didn't think it was important. I won't even say anything about 45.
We ain't even mentioning your name.
No.
Not on the groove.
No.
Not even, you know what I mean?
No, not
on
today.
On the vibes, nothing.
But if people would listen and understand that local elections matter.
They matter. Please get out and vote.
Because stuff like COVID-19 would have a different response. Exactly. We have a military base right in Columbia, South Carolina. They're not having outbreaks. They have created this bubble. So if we could just listen, find the experts,
take heed.
And take heed to it, to the advice. No one is telling you can't go out. They're telling you to be safe when you go out. No one is saying you can't go visit grandma who's 85 and has COPD. They're saying maybe you visit grandma while you're standing on the porch. Or maybe you mask and glove up so that grandma is not affected. I think it's really important, especially in the Black community. We have had so many horrible things done to us in the medical profession. Right here in South Carolina, there's a statue of a man at the State House who performed hysterectomies on young women without anesthesia or anything for no reason other than to sterilize them. So lots of horrible things have happened to our community by the medical field, but this is not something they're trying to get us with. We have to take precautions and we have to be safe. So I didn't mean to get on my soapbox. I'm sorry.
Listen. That's important.
It is important.
They need to hear that. I mean, it's so important.
We need to be safe. We just need to be safe.
We have to be safe, man. Listen. Put your life, put God first, okay? But put your life, you know what I'm saying, high as well, okay? You have to protect yourself. And if you have kids, okay? Listen, protect your kids. Okay.
Put them on a mask. Make them wash their hands.
Yes.
It's important.
Yes.
It really is.
Yes. Now, when you were 17 years old in Florida.
In Florida.
Did that young lady see this young lady?
I'll tell you this. I did not see, I'll say this, I did not see who I am today.
Okay.
What I saw though was that I was not going to be like every other girl in my small town. I didn't want to get pregnant in high school, so I didn't do the things to get pregnant in high school. I didn't want to go to jail, so I didn't do the things that could have put me in jail.
Okay.
I didn't hang around people who weren't trying to get out.
Right.
It felt like, for me, that small town felt like just a foundation. I was going someplace else, but I didn't know where, and I didn't know how I would get there. But I knew that if I had a good attitude, I knew that if I just worked really hard, I could save enough money to get out of there. And who knew that I would end up in Columbia, South Carolina? It was all a part of the plan. I couldn't make history today had that not happened to me at 18 years old, 17 years old. I couldn't make history today if I didn't go through the things that I went through. I wouldn't understand perseverance and resiliency.
Perseverance, man, that's my favorite word, right?
So I had to go through those things to become the woman that I am today. And I've said this very often in the last few years. At year 37, I grew up. And I will be 40 in February. But in year 37, thank you. I grew up in year 37. I learned some things about myself and some of the toxic things that I had in me that made my relationships bad, that made my relationships fail, that made me difficult to be around at times, because I'm so like, well, they're not gonna hurt me, I'm gonna just leave, you know. So I learned some things about myself that have allowed me to be able to sit in this space, even with you today, with humility, with kindness, and with grace.
I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful.
So I'm grateful for the woman that I am. I'm grateful for the experiences that I've had. I could have done without some of them, let's be clear.
So if you could talk to that young 17-year-old right now that's in high school, that went to the same high school you went to, that's facing the same challenges that you face, what would you tell that young lady right now?
Anger will not win. Anger won't get you to the places that you need to get to. I have been afforded so many opportunities because I've always been kind. I've always been thoughtful and nice. Work ethic will win every time. You don't have to be the smartest. I'm never the smartest. I don't have to be the smartest. I don't have to be the biggest. I don't have to be the brightest light in the room, but you will never outwork me, ever. Guarantee that. You will never outwork me. So kindness, work ethic, and patience. And then if I could say this to my younger self, I would say, you have all the resources and tools you need within yourself to make it happen. And if you don't use them, then it is on you. It is nobody else's fault.
Nobody else.
I made a post about this the other day about being emotional. A lot of times women get that, rap for being, we're so emotional, you're so emotional. And I have been emotional in my life. I have, cried till I threw up. I have, been so sad that it affected my productivity. And so Warren Buffett has this quote, someone gave it to him, and I don't know the original source of it, but I got it in an article I read that was interviewing him, and he said, you can always tell someone to go to tomorrow, to go to Hades tomorrow.
Right.
And I wish I would have gotten that advice earlier in life, that your emotions can affect you in such a way that you make poor decisions.
Wow.
So don't be emotional, be logical.
There you go.
Be logical.
Man. Control your own fate.
Yes.
Okay? All right. Be mindful of that, man. And it's important who you surround yourself with.
Oh, honey, yes it is.
That's so important. All right. So be mindful of that. Now, You heard from the most fabulous woman in the world today. All right. So we are
Don't
so
give me these titles.
and so excited because she came here. Listen, she's not being held hostage, okay? We didn't have to pay no kind of ransom. She came on her own. We're so thankful.
My own free
Now,
will.
For those who may want to follow you, who may not know who you are, how can they follow you?
So right now
And
they
how
can follow
can
me.
they support you?
Oh, yes. Let's talk about that because
Yeah.
the election is coming up.
There you go.
And I still need to raise money. I still need support. So please visit Rutherford4Coroner.com. RUTHERFORD, the number 4, Coroner, CORONER.com to support, to volunteer, to reach out. If you just want to know a little bit more about me, you can find an about page on the website. We are still accepting donations, large and small. The maximum you can donate is $1,000, but we'll take $1 if that's what you have and that's
Everybody send $1,000.
Yes, let's claim it, Father. Listen, we need the money because we still are running an election. So, so yes, if they would like to support us, they can go to Rutherford4Coroner.com. We are in between changing brands for Styled by Naida, but right now you can find us at Styled by Naida on Instagram, STYLEDBYNAIDA. But the name will be changing soon to Now and Then Store. Yes, old school candies coming your way.
Community vibes, you heard it here first, huh? Boom. Now,
Can I say thank you?
thank you. Thank me?
Yes.
No, thank you. What you talking about?
So listen, listen, y'all. This phenomenal man right here invited me on. Here's what viewers need to know: is that he and I have never actually had a conversation.
Never.
So this is like. He got to know me, so when this turns off, I'm about to interview him.
Listen, there's nothing to know.
That's what I should take over the community vibes page and interview you.
Listen, you can have it. Take it over, it's yours. You signing, but we have one question for you though.
Oh.
And depending on your answer to this question, we might give you the vibes. We just might give you the vibes. Drum rolling. Now, I know you eat chicken wings.
I do eat chicken wings.
You eat chicken wings, right? Okay. Now, this is a very important question.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to chicken wings, do you prefer flats or drums?
It depends on the day, but I prefer the flats. I do.
I just don't know why I keep losing, man. Nobody likes the drums.
Well, let me tell you why. Because they have that little gristle on the end.
That's tough. It is tough.
And so when you get the flats, it's easier to eat.
It is tough. It is.
I gotta keep my nails clean.
You do.
So that's why I prefer the flats.
Isn't the drums like you can dip easier with the drums? You can
now for dip, because let me tell you this.
Dip purpose.
I love to dip.
You like to dip?
Oh man, I love a sauce. I love a gravy, a roux, all
Favorite
of that.
sauce?
Hennessy honey sauce from the Golden. Yes, it is the best
sauce.
sauce.
You popping right now, baby.
Golden, come try the Hennessy honey wings. They are amazing.
So what about lemon pepper? Like
lemon pepper is delicious.
It's okay.
But the Hennessy honey, I used to eat lemon pepper all the time.
Okay.
Hennessy honey is by far my favorite.
Boom.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try that.
Yes, come tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
110 Columbia Northeast Drive.
Plug. Listen, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another impactful episode. Listen, you better show up and show out for this young lady, okay? Don't make me come to your house, all right?
Yes, I'm gonna be floating out of here. My head gonna be so big.
Please, y'all, we need this. Listen, and we need more women stepping up. Okay,
I agree.
Men, let's support these queens, man. Listen, man, stop all this whole macho stuff. Okay, let's lift these queens up. Listen, real talk, they smarter than us. Now, I'm just gonna be honest with you.
We're all smart.
They smart. We're all smart, But hey, they smarter than us. But we the muscle, okay?
We'll take
so
it.
we have to support our queens, okay? Protect and provide. It's important, all right? Look out for your queens, man, and tell your young queens that anything is possible.
Yes.
Anything is possible, okay? Do not doubt your daughters, okay? Show them that they can be whatever they want to be and who they want to be, all right? All right, listen, God is good, okay? Like, listen, man, you say your prayers twice a day and she might come sit by you. I don't know. God bless though.
Yo, Kingdom. Community vibes, community ties. Terrance Tucker is the brother who's connecting the tribe. You say you won't shine, come get your shine on. You say you want vibes, come get your vibe on. Community vibes, community ties. Terrance Tucker is the brother who's connecting the tribe. Hey, you say you won't shine, we'll get your shine on. You say you want vibes, we'll get your vibe on.